Dallen, we got a draft.
We do.
We got a draft.
We do.
And we talk, we talk a lot about, well, we have in the past about, sports franchises we miss and that we wish were still here. We wish would come back. So why not draft them? Dallen, why not draft our favorite sports franchises that no longer exist? And we have decided that we're going to do this wide open. Wide open. There is basically no parameters to this outside of the lame ones. So, if, we're not drafting the Oakland Raiders, right?
Right.
The Oakland Raiders don't exist anymore, but that'd be a lame one because they just simply moved to Las Vegas. So, but there's plenty to pick from in this category, Dallen. You have the first pick this week.
I do.
So, Dallen, grace us with your first overall pick. I have an idea of maybe who it is.
Really?
But, yeah, because I think that you are a big advocate of that particular team coming back into existence. And so I would like I want to know if it actually is going to be your first pick or not.
You're right. I am a big Atlanta Thrashers fan. So that I'm just kidding. No, this is Mitch. There are some drafts where I don't want to have the first pick, because I'm like, I can't decide between guys. How do I pick a favorite? This was a draft that I definitely was super cool with having the first pick because there is one team near and dear to my heart, hopefully soon to come back, soon to reappear, a city that deserves their NBA franchise back. I'm taking the Seattle SuperSonics, #1 overall, favorite sports franchises that no longer exist. The SuperSonics are a great brand. They're a great color scheme. They had a great history. They won an NBA Finals. This was a good franchise and a city that deserves the team. Just look at how they've treated the Kraken. And that just goes to show how Seattle will embrace the SuperSonics when they come back, because it is a win, not an if at this point. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but no brainer here for the SuperSonics.
If you didn't take them, I was gonna. So
yeah,
that's a great pick. I love it. They're just iconic team. Great players, a great basketball history in Seattle. I really hope that they eventually bring back the SuperSonics. And like you said, I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When the NBA eventually expands, that will be certainly one of the franchises that's going to be discussed coming back. But Dallen, for my first pick, I'm going to kind of stay in the same vein of teams that never should have gone in the first place. They should still be here today, and it's a shame that they aren't. I'm going with the Montreal Expos.
I love it.
There's no reason why the Montreal Expos should have left. Why they left for Washington. Again, like Seattle, just an iconic franchise that unfortunately got the short end of the stick. And I think right now, in the same vein as the SuperSonics, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I think when MLB finally expands to 32 teams like they should, and the discussions have been kind of ramping up as the years have gone along, I'm confident that Montreal will get the Expos back. And we'll be talking about Expos baseball maybe here in the next 5 years. Who knows? I hope.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I hope that they are considered in potential relocations or expansions because it's a great market and it'd be great for the MLB to have a second team in Canada. They already have the Toronto Blue Jays, so why not bring back Montreal? And a great colors and for uniforms. So yeah, love it, Mitch. That's a great first pick.
Yeah, definitely. With my second pick, I think Dallen knows where I'm going with my second pick because I didn't take them #1 overall. They're my favorite jerseys of all time. It's a fantastic organization. Technically, they're still around, just under a different name and location. But give me the Houston Oilers. Look, one of my favorite football players of all time was a Houston Oiler, and Earl Campbell. I have to pick the Houston Oilers here. I think that's just a great franchise with a great history. And and it's a shame that they're not around today, because I feel like that would be it was a team that wasn't ready to go yet, and unfortunately they went when they went.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I thought that was going to be your 101, but those were the two I expected. Those were the two I expected, and the top three has gone just as I thought.
I figured these were going to be the three in some orientation, or one orientation or another. So, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That brings me back up. I got my second and third pick. Started off with the SuperSonics. I'm debating some teams here.
Okay.
Trying to decide. We'll go chalk first, and then we'll get a little fun on the second one here. So for the first, I already went with an NBA franchise. I'm going to add another. This team has some of the best branding that an NBA team has ever had, and it far surpasses what the current iteration of this team has going for it, and that's the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with the Vancouver Grizzlies here with my second pick, who existed from their expansion in the NBA in 1995 to when they were taken away to go to Memphis, and that's where they are now, which just it's not the same. It is not the same. The one, obviously, Vancouver Grizzlies makes so much more sense than Grizzly Bears in Memphis, Tennessee. The new color scheme, the light powder blue or the blue and white, just does not slap the same way as that incredible turquoise and bronze and the red and black of the Vancouver Grizzlies. The logo of is incredible. I mean, it was just so unique and iconic, and also a great city for potential expansion back to. I know they couldn't keep an NBA franchise for more than a decade, but feels like maybe a place I could have a second shot. So I love the Vancouver Grizzlies. They always hold a place near and dear to my heart as an NBA fan of the 90s. So
I think it took me a long time for me to stop calling them the Vancouver Grizzlies, because when I was coming into my sports fandom as a young kid, we were doing it at the same time. They had always been the Vancouver Grizzlies, and so when they moved to Memphis, it was definitely a change. And I think I still called them Vancouver until I was in high school. It was a hard change to make, but yeah, no, that's a great pick. It definitely makes more sense for them, for that franchise at Vancouver. There's nothing intimidating about a powder blue Grizzly, right?
Yeah,
exactly. That turquoise and bronze and dark colors, and that's intimidating about a Grizzly. I love that pick. Love that pick.
Yeah. Grizzlies. Again, I mean, they've been the Memphis Grizzlies for over 20 years now. They only were in Vancouver for like 6 years.
Right.
But it still feels like they belong in Vancouver. So second pick there, Vancouver Grizzlies. My third pick though, Mitch, I'm going into the NHL. We're having some fun now because this franchise has a great name and a city that deserves a franchise. Why not good old Connecticut? Why not the Hartford Whalers?
Yeah.
We're going with the Hartford Whalers because the Whalers in the Northeast in Hartford for hockey. I mean, come on. That's like branding genius. That's incredible. And then obviously this is the team that is now the Carolina Hurricanes. They moved to Carolina for the 97-98 season, but from 1979-1980 season as an expansion team all the way into the end of 1997, they were the Hartford Whalers, and it's a great brand. It's a spot that has I know it's redundant with the Bruins and the Islanders and the Rangers. There's a lot of teams in the Northeast, so I understand like why you would want to move them from the NHL perspective, but it's a much better brand. And I just like, that's a great Hartford Whalers. Like that needs to come back. So I'm all in.
That's a great one, man. I threw around a couple different of hockey names, and none of them stuck quite like the Hartford Whalers.
An iconic logo too. If you've ever seen the logo, I'm gonna actually pull it up here on the stream for those that are not familiar.
It's a great logo.
This is it's super unique looking, and the colors. Again, I mean, I'm a big the colors have to look good kind of guy, but I mean, this is, here we go.
Yeah. That's
I mean, that's
top
great.
notch. That's
Look
top
at that.
notch.
You got the W for the Whalers and then obviously I mean, that's just great.
And then you got the H in the middle.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So yeah, so you
logo,
got the H and then the
logo,
W.
logo
I mean,
genius.
then the whale fin. Yeah, I mean, this is gorgeous branding. I mean, just
It's incredible.
well done.
Yeah.
And
Hartford. Number
great
3.
pick. Great pick. Man, now here I am.
Now here you are.
Now here I am. You know, I'm going to go to the NBA, and I'm going to go with a team that rebranded to a much worse mascot, much worse everything about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Washington Bullets.
Oh, okay.
I think that the Washington Bullets was them going from the Bullets to the Wizards was a tragedy. It's just like that is such a better team name. It's more aggressive sounding. No one fears a wizard. No one fears a wizard. You hear wizard and you think
for
Harry
yourself,
Potter.
Mitch. I am terrified of wizards.
Yeah,
Wizards,
you think of Harry
witches,
Potter. I mean, come on.
gremlins, ghouls. I'm afraid of them all.
You think of Harry Potter. Come on. That's like no one's casting spells on you. It's way more intimidating to hear bullets. I mean, come on. That's kind
of why they changed the name, was the whole gun violence
I know that's
thing.
why they changed the name, but it's so much better.
Yeah,
and
I'm with you.
If society just wasn't so soft and could figure it out, then maybe we could still have the bullets. But I'm going with the Bullets at number 3.
Okay,
I'm going.
I like it. I think it would hurt less if the Wizards wasn't just such a god awful name. If they had just picked a better alternate name than Bullets, I think it would be like, all right, like that's an awesome name, but we can accept this new one. But they fell so flat by picking the Wizards that it just is like, what are we doing? Why is this still here? So I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Three NBA teams on here. I'm surprised by that.
Well, there's been some good ones.
Definitely.
Number 4 on the list. I'm going to stay in basketball, but not in the NBA. And I'm between two.
Harlem Globetrotters?
No, they still exist. They're still around.
Maybe had an alternate name. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm between two. You know what? I'm going to give the ladies a shout out. I'm going with the Sacramento Monarchs.
Oh, okay.
Look, even when the Kings weren't that good, the Monarchs were still decent. And you could, I mean, really what I am a full believer that if this team would still be around if the Maloof brothers weren't in charge of both franchises. If they had not sold out the way that they did, they almost sank the Kings. They completely sank the Monarchs, and they had no buyers for it. The Sacramento Monarchs would still be around. Champions in 2005, WNBA champions in 2005, I believe. So Sacramento does have a basketball championship to hang up in the rafters. It's just not the Kings. It's the Sacramento Monarchs. And what a great name. I mean, it's a great name. It's in conjunction with the Kings. It's
love the tying in of the same city and theming the names around each other.
I love the white, black, and purple paints, the white, black, and purple color scheme that they have. It was just a great franchise, and shame that they're not around anymore.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that. I like shout out to the WNBA. Where I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Monarchs. Yeah. Monarchs were solid. They were. I remember
they were right up there as like with like the LA.
It was like funny because it was the same thing in the NBA. It was like Kings Lakers, and then it was like Sparks Monarchs were like the best teams for that era. That's kind of funny how that worked out like that,
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
All righty. I'm up. I'm back up. Is that right?
You are back up. Yeah.
Hey, I am back up, Mitch. I've got 2 picks left in our draft of our favorite sports franchises that no longer exist. There are so many I want to pick. I'm going to leave a lot out that I want to include here. So I got to go with 2. I'm picking one that I believe was a huge missed opportunity when this team rebranded just a few years ago. The team history existed and they passed it by. So for number 4, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Spiders.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland Spiders existed in professional baseball from 1887 to 1889. This is not the same team that has become the Cleveland Guardians that we know today. This was a now defunct franchise from the late 1800s. But the Spiders name started out as the Blues, by the way. The Cleveland Blues for 2 seasons and the Spiders in the NL. But the Spiders name is so good. When the Cleveland Indians franchise announced they would be changing that name and coming up with a new one, I was all on board with Spiders. I was so hopeful that they would go with that because of the history and just how unique and cool. There's no spiders in professional sports in America. We have no names around that at all. So it'd be very unique. They chose Guardians. Guardians is mid at best. So yeah, Spiders. I love that name. Always stands out to me. So I'll pick that number 4.
I like that pick. A little nod to history, and I like that. I mean, all of this is a nod to history, but I love the nod to deep history. So I appreciate that out of you, Dallen. That's a great pick.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great pick.
Oh, yeah. You're going to like this last one then, Mitch.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. You may not even, I don't even know how familiar you are with this. So we will find out, because for the 5th pick, we're going into the NHL again for our final pick here. And this NHL. Do you want to take a guess? Okay, I'll give you one guess. You can guess who this is.
I'm going to go with the New York Americans.
No, this is not the New York Americans. This
all
is
right,
a
well,
team
tell me.
And a franchise that no longer exists in the NHL had a sizable stint for almost about 2 decades. NHL expansion team in 1967. They've gone by the wayside. I love unique names. I love colors in names if it's done well. Number 5, the California Golden Seals of the
that's
NHL.
A good one. That's a good one. I like that.
The Golden Seals. And again, we got to do justice here with the logo so that you guys can appreciate, if you're watching the stream, not only this team, but the color scheme here on the logo. So this is the Golden Seals logo. You can kind of make out a seal inside a yellow C shape with some green in the middle. So it's a yellow-green color scheme, really light, really fresh, very 60s and 70s, which is when this team existed from 1967 to 1976. Based in Oakland, they had a few different changes. They were the California Seals, the San Francisco Seals, the Oakland Seals, the Bay Area Seals, the California Golden Seals, and then ended in Cleveland as the Cleveland Barons for 2 seasons. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see definitely coincides with the A's, with the green and yellow.
Yes.
Being an Oakland-based team. I love the Bay Area Golden Seals. I love that.
Yeah.
Bay Area Seals, that's a great one.
Bay Area Seals. I loved the California Golden Seals. That's why we went with that one. So there you go. That's my number 5 pick. California Golden Seals of the NHL.
I love it. Dallen. That was a great pick. That was a great pick. Definitely something I considered. So I am going to not do anything NHL though in my draft, and I'm not going to do anything more NBA. No more MLB, no more football. I'm going to the world of NASCAR.
Oh.
And I'm going with Junior Johnson and Associates, or Johnson Hodgson Racing.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick this team just purely based off the success that they had and how it wasn't able to be sustained and why Junior Johnson had to close up shop. So Junior Johnson, a legendary NASCAR driver, there's a whole movie about him. Watch The Last American Hero. It's loosely based off Junior Johnson. 50 career wins as a driver. Was notorious for being arrested for running moonshine. Opens up his own team after his racing career. 132 wins as an owner, 6 championships. 76, 77, 78, 81, 82, 85. Wins 3 with Cale Yarborough, 3 with Darrell Waltrip. One of the most successful teams of the 70s, 80s, and the early 90s. Unfortunately, they closed up shop, I believe, after the 1995 season. Yes. So Look, this is just a team that there's so many great drivers that took part in this. Bobby Isaac, AJ Foyt, Freddie Lorenzen, Leroy Yarborough, Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, Darrell Waltrip, Neil Bonnet, Terry Labonte, Jeff Bodine, Bill Elliott, Sterling Marlin, Elton Sawyer, Jimmy Spencer, Earl Ross. All these great drivers took part in this racing team, this franchise, if you will, and is no longer part of NASCAR. It's a complete shame that they had to shut down the team. But I'm going with Junior Johnson and Associates. I know it's a reach, it's a selfish pick, but it's my pick, and I want to give the shout out to one of the great racing teams that don't exist anymore.
I love it. Had a 40-year run, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. Mitch is always good for the NASCAR. You love to see it. We always try to throw some curveballs out there at the end. So yeah, shout out to Junior Johnson and Associates, or what? Johnson
Hodgdon Racing.
Hodgdon Racing.
Yeah, there was a partnership late in the deal. So
okay. Alrighty, that's the Sports Hour Draft favorite sports franchise that no longer exist. Mitch, let's run through our list one more time for the folks. I'll start us off. I had the first overall pick, my top 5: Seattle SuperSonics, Vancouver Grizzlies, Hartford Whalers, Cleveland Spiders, and the California Golden Seals.
I have the Montreal Expos, the Houston Oilers, the Washington Bullets, the Sacramento Monarchs, and Junior Johnson and Associates Racing. So
you love to see it. All right, let us know if you're watching live or if you're listening live tonight on this Wednesday evening. Let us know you thought had the better draft here. Who did we maybe leave off or forget? If you're watching this or listening to this in the future, let us know your thoughts. Who were some of those franchises? What were some of those franchises, Mitch, that you really wanted to include on this or heavily considered here?
Man, there was a few. There was the Spirit of St. Louis was the one that I toyed with, an ABA team. Okay. There's the Canton Bulldogs, right?
Oh, yeah, that was on my list. It's a great one.
Of the original ones. There were some XFL teams that I toyed with. There was some USFL teams like the Houston Gamblers that I toyed with. That would have been a great team to add. The Virginia Squires, another ABA team that I thought about adding. So, yeah, there was quite a few. But what were the big ones for you? Because I'm sure we had plenty of different ones.
Yeah, Canton Bulldogs was on my list. That one I definitely considered. Out of the NBA, I loved San Diego Rockets or the Clippers. I just one of the San Diego franchises I considered. MLB, there were some fun ones. I don't know if you've heard of some of these. So, I mean, of course you have, Mitch, but listeners, if you haven't, let us know. But Detroit Wolverines, fantastic name. Why are we not using Wolverines more often? Love that. Washington Senators, obviously, that was like a throwback. But the Chicago Orphans.
Yes.
What? The Orphans?
That's allowed.
Incredible. That was allowed at one point. Yeah, we talk about being offended by stuff now. Yeah, the orphans, the children without parents. And then my personal favorite, the Wooster Woosters. Which is just such a good, I mean, come on. The Wooster Woosters. Incredible. The NFL team I wanted also besides Canton, the Duluth Eskimos. Because Eskimos, what? That's incredible. I love
Duluth Eskimos.
Yeah. So
there was one actually that I really wanted to add in there, but it's on a technicality. It was during World War II. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers had players both leave for the war.
Oh, right.
So they combined teams and they became the Steagles.
Yes, the Steagles.
Which I kind of thought was kind of a fun one, but maybe that wouldn't necessarily fly for this draft, but that would be a fun mention. So
I do like that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Honestly, I was telling Mitch before we started recording that, like a funniest or best sports franchise names of all time might be a draft we have to do, because there were some great names that I came across looking on this, for past franchises and whatnot. So I feel like we may have to bust this a similar segment out here in the future.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have to. So